What's up, guys? Hey, how we doing? Welcome to the Tills4Thrills podcast. I am your host, Julian Tiller. Today's a special episode for me. It is our milestone episode. So when we started this, we read into some statistics that was, 90% of podcasters in the beginning stage don't make it past episode 5. And then 90% of those don't make it past episode 21. So kind of a special thing for me. Those statistics might have changed in 2025 or the end of 2024, but I'm just, we're already where 90% of the people don't make it. So I'm super excited. I'm also super excited to announce to everybody for the first time on camera that Dubby has agreed to sponsor us. So you can go to dubby.gg. Right? They are an energy supplement company that provides focus without all the mess of ingredients behind it. Right? So you talk about pre-workout and they got all kinds of stuff that you don't, whatever. Food coloring, no sugar, stuff like that. That's what Dubby provides. They also have clothing products that you can do. Upon checkout, upon checkout, hit that promo code Tills4Thrills to save you 10%. It'll help us in the long run. I am going to cut over to my beautiful co-host, Nick Straub, everyone, so that he can give you a demonstration on the Dubby products.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Like Julian said, we're super excited. 90% of the people shit the bed before episode 5. This is episode 6, so we have yet to poop. Hopefully we do not poop. But about the Dubby stuff, yeah, jitterless energy situation here. It doesn't have like niacin in it, like how pre-workout does. You take pre-workout and you get like itchy, like super itchy. You're like, fuck. Doesn't have that in it. It's sugarless. Good stuff. It's a decent price, so it's not bad. Use code Tills4Thrills for 10% off your order at checkout. Currently, I'm drinking the fruit punch one. The only thing I really have to say about it, it's good, bit on the sweeter side. I tried the mango orange cream, and the blue raz in the other episodes. Those were all good as well. And then here we have the mystery flavor. So we'll be trying that here in a bit. Don't mind my disability cane back there. My $20 special from Walgreens that I had to buy because my knees be hurting.
Well, before you continue, I do want to point out the fact that you did say that you tried it in another episode. I want to clarify, we did record episode 7, so we already have that on the way for you next week. We are going. So if you haven't noticed, background's completely different. I moved, right? So I moved out of the house I was staying in. Right now we are in San Antonio visiting family. Before the end of the month, we go to more permanently live in Kansas. So right now, we're trying to do a big push for knocking out a bunch of episodes for you guys. So that way we don't have to worry about it while I'm moving. But with that said, I know that we had a fan or a follower comment on one of our Facebook posts asking about the VA situation. And Nick, can you go ahead and read that comment and give us your answer?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just pull this bad boy up. So Tammy asked a question on a Facebook post we put out. It's a question about the VA. She said, if you're 100% temporary, like you're 100% disability, but it's temporary, not permanent, are other health issues covered by the VA during the time of receiving disability, or do they only cover the specific condition that warranted the 100%? So the answer to that, guys, is I called my local VA CBOC and kind of clarified that because I didn't want to give you or her any wrong information. So as long as you're enrolled into VA healthcare, you would have access to everything from primary care to mental health as a 100% disability rated veteran. If you're not rated at 100%, the only thing that you would not have access to is $0 copays if you went on a network, like for like community care or something like that, or dental care, unless you have a dental disability, like you're rated for a dental disability. So like, for example, if you were in OEF or OIF and suffered from an IED blast and it blew like a piece of like your jaw apart, that's a dental disability. You would be able to have dental care. So I just want to kind of answer some of these questions for you guys, just to show you guys that, we really, really like it. If you guys have questions, we'll do our best to kind of get on the horn with somebody and see if we can get some actual information. If you guys have any other questions, comments, or concerns, you can always email us at the Tills4Thrills podcast at gmail.com. You can follow us on all of our social media. The Rumble we're still kind of working on. We'll get there, we promise. But we got the Facebook, we got the Instagram, the Twitch, the YouTube, the X. If you guys are a veteran in need and you need to talk to somebody and just things aren't necessarily going your way, you can always, in a time of need, call the Veterans Crisis Line, dial 988 and press 1. And that kind of wraps up the questions section, Julian. Unless you had kind of like any further questions about like some VA processes or some things that I'm aware of.
Honestly, I do have some other questions that I do want to ask. Before I get into that, let me just say, dog, that screen against your glasses was insane, bro.
Oh, dude, it's rough.
Like, you ever seen anime where like it's got the nerdy dude with the glasses? He's like, I can solve it, and it's got like the white shine. That's exactly what you look like.
Well, it doesn't help that I'm related to Casper the Friendly Ghost, and my skin is as white as the walls, bro. Like, what's that?
Oh, just wait until your camera starts going out of focus again, because you blended in, dog.
Yo, when God made me, he was like doing like the complexity of my skin and was like just fucking tipped the jar of white just totally in, and I was like came out and I was like, fuck,
Oh my God. Like, he said, I'm gonna make you transparent. That's funny. Before we get into it though, again, guys, w.gg, use promo code Tills4Thrills at checkout for your 10% discount. Okay. You'll be helping yourself and you will be helping the show. I promise. And we love to bring you more content. We love to just, honestly, for the most part, man, at this point, we just want user interaction. We want people to contact us. We want people to talk to us so we can answer questions that you may have, or we can just, hey man, you want to come on the show and you want to come and hang out and just bullshit with us for about an hour? Let's go, dog.
Let's do it.
I do think we can get into this now. If you were in the Army or the military in general, right? Like if you're in any branch of the military, when you're looking to get out, right, you'll have programs that you got to go through, create a financial budget plan. You got to, figure out how to write your resume. You got to go through all these steps and everything. Well, when you're like no more than 180 days out, right? So that means up to 180 days before your actual ETS, and then no less than 90 days from your ETS. You have that little window where you can go and register for the VA, and you can, start getting your ratings process done, and you will take priority over somebody who's already gotten out and then went to go register. Another thing is, if you don't do that and you go to get out and say you're at 6 months after you get out, you have from your ETS date to an entire year outside of that to go register for the VA, where they will backdate it all the way to your ETS date.
Yeah.
Right. So, so like say it takes a year and a half to get your VA claim done. Well, all that time you'll get that lump sum in your account and they'll be like, here's your money, dog.
Yeah.
Right?
Here's your back pay.
So, I mean, I hope it doesn't take you a year and a half, but that's another possibility, right? If you wait longer than a year, you'll only get backdated to the day that you started the registration and claims process.
Yep.
With that said, Nick, so I registered in Temple, right? Mm-hmm. And haven't gotten a call back. Now, I know I can call them and, see, what the hell, what's taking so long.
Sure.
But I'm also in the process of moving. The original plan was to come here to San Antonio and register here, but now I got to go to Kansas. I'm going to have to register through Wichita. So I'm still registered at the Temple. What steps do I need to take in order to move that process up there?
So, for example's sake, when I moved from Texas to Michigan, I was in the Temple system as well. Basically, what I did is I called the Michigan VA while I was still in Temple. I called the Michigan VA and said, "Hey, listen, I'm coming back home. This is the station that I'm currently registered with, which was Temple." And I said, "What do I need to do to be able to transfer my stuff?" And I knew preemptively, I knew that I was going to, the second I got off the phone with Michigan VA, I knew I was going to call Temple VA and ask them the exact same question, because I don't need no bullshit when I'm going across the country and they're talking about some we lost your paperwork. Fuck that, you know. So they said, "Hey, call Temple, let them know. They'll send a request to us for us to get your stuff." So I hung up, called Temple. "Hey man, I'm moving to Michigan. What do I need to do to move my paperwork, move my file, whatever it is, because it's, it's all electronic now. Um, what do I need to do?" They said the exact same thing. They said, "So call Michigan, they'll send a request, we'll move it." And I said, "All right, fantastic, thanks." Ironically just kind of had a like in-person appointment. So when I went to that appointment, I asked again and reiterated, "Hey, I called a couple days ago. This is what they told me. This is my situation. What do I do?" They said the exact same thing. "Just call them. They'll issue a request. You'll be good to go." So for you, what I would recommend is call the Temple VA whenever you get an opportunity. Say, "Hey, listen, I'm moving to Kansas. What do I need to do to push my stuff forward?" And then when you get off the horn with them, call the Wichita system and be like, "Hey, moving to Kansas, yada yada yada, dick and butt. This is what I need to do, right? Or this is what I'm looking to do." And they'll be like, "Okay, this is what you need to do." So it's a fairly simple thing, fortunately. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to hand you like a stack of paperwork. They're not going to hand you your file because it's all digital. So
Right.
the only thing that's going to change is you might have to wait to get assigned to a PCM care team. Like I had to wait a second. But like I said, once I went to Michigan, my PCM team was great. They called me in for like an intake appointment. Really, what it was them to find out like who I am, what do I do for work, what's going on. Do you need mental health help? We'll set that up. Do you need primary care help? We'll set that up. And I
Right.
met my PCM, I met my nurse team, I met all those people. So it's fairly
Well,
simple.
well, and not to take away from the very valuable information you just provided, because I'm definitely going to have to use that, and I'm sure that other people moving forward, people that are getting out, they got to move here, got to move there, whatever.
Yeah.
It's it's going to be very valuable information. But we are
What?
in no way, shape, or we are in. Oh my God, my kids are going crazy right now. Hey, baby, my wife just got home. So, with that said, peep the shirt, because if you were local to the Michigan, the Flushing, Michigan area, you should go visit the Hardwired Arcade.
Peep it.
Yeah, man.
Peep it. Good stuff.
So again, not sponsored. Just very good friends of ours who own
Yep.
the arcade. Um, if you find yourself in Michigan at all, visit Flushing, go to the arcade. It's a lot of fun. So, getting back into it though, um, when you go through the process, because I mean, I don't want this episode to be like just a whole deep dive into it or
Sure.
anything, because we're here to celebrate, right? But
Yeah. Before you ask your question, which process? The healthcare process or the disability process?
the disability process, right?
Okay.
Because that's the main thing, right? Like,
Sure.
that's the main thing for us veterans getting out. If we are injured, I am injured, my back's messed up. 90% of us got sciatica. We got, I was in my motorcycle accident. I got my broke knee. Um, I have sleep apnea. I have anxiety, panic attack, shit like that.
Mm.
Going through the VA, like, obviously you don't want to lie to them. The last thing you want to do is lie to them about what you're going through, because if, you could go to jail.
Yep.
What was that process like for you when you were getting rated?
Well, it was different with each like healthcare system because, like I said, I've been through Arizona, Texas, and Michigan. Um, in Arizona, it was kind of messed up because that's where I started my claims, and I filed for my feet because like my feet were messed up, and they found that I had plantar fasciitis that was service connected, and They gave me like special inserts for my shoes. Because I had those while I was in service, active duty. They had sent me to the naval hospital to podiatry, and I had like injections done into my feet. Sucks ass, by the way. If you've ever had to have injections in your feet, you know shit ain't fun. But they gave me special inserts. But when I moved to Texas in between me doing the claim, so stuff kind of got like messed up. So that claim went through, and then I filed for, I kind of like nickeled and dimed the VA. I wasn't one of those guys or girls that just kind of like claimed a whole bunch of stuff and was like, here you go, like do what you will with this. I kind of was like, I'm gonna claim. At first I claimed like my feet, and then I claimed my knees and my hips, and then I claimed my back, and then I claimed, you know what I mean? So I was
So
kind of like,
when you did this, was it like all just different processes? Like you would, guys, sorry, my son wants to come and say hi. Come here. Come here. Come here.
he's like, no, now I don't wanna.
Yeah, now he's shy. Now he doesn't want to. This is my youngest son, Adonis Tiberius, man.
Again, inside the video.
Yeah, you're inside the video.
Again.
We're recording. We're recording right now.
Oh.
Yeah, this is going to go up on YouTube.
He said, oh, let me get out of here.
Everybody's going to see you, man. Here, you want to do the like, comment, subscribe?
No, my brother does that.
Well,
I told you.
You could do that. You're a famous YouTuber now. Look at you. Oh, he's shy. All right.
I know, I just don't do it.
All right. Go on, Mr. Shy Boy. So, when you did it, did you you claimed the you claimed the feet, right? And then you go through the ratings process, you get your chunk of change, and then what, you claimed something else after that process was finished? Or how did you claim more and more stuff as you were going through the rating process?
Yeah, so so at first I claimed the feet, and then I claimed like knees and hips, and then I claimed my back. I think I claimed knees, hips, and back at the same time, I think. But the process is all the same. So yeah, you like this shit, huh?
Yeah.
So the process is all the same. So if you claim physical stuff, you're going to have to physically come in for what's called a C&P exam. It stands for like claims and something. I don't know. Use your imagination, guys. I don't know. Or just look it up. There's always that option. But you go through what's called a C&P exam, and it's basically where you like sit in with a doctor and they go over some of the stuff that you claim. So like for my feet, for example, I went in and they said, hey, what's going on with your feet? I said, it sucks ass when I stand. I can't stand on my feet for more than 5 seconds without being in pain. And they go, okay, well, let's look at your feet. And then they start touching, and I'm like, ooh, oh, So, and then they're like, yeah, bro, you have plantar fasciitis. I went, I don't know what that means, but okay, Yeah. So it's kind of like the same process, like for a physical thing. Like if you claim anything physical, you're probably going to in person go see a doctor. That's what I did, at least.
Right.
If you claim mental, those can be done through like video calls. You can go in person. I've gone in person for multiple of them. Like they'll do like psych evals and stuff like that, and they'll kind of like gauge like where you're at and like monitor you. Like for some mental things, I had to come in multiple times for the same claim to talk about the same thing, just so they can kind of gauge like how it's progressing. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be the case for everything,
Right.
That makes sense.
I mean, for me personally, like as far as the mental goes, I do definitely, it used to be where stressful shit would happen and I'd be like, all right, cool. Like, let's figure this shit out, dog. We'll figure it out. That's fine.
Just keep it moving.
Now it's like my whole world comes crashing down.
Yeah. The smallest thing sends you on a spiral.
Yeah, dude. And I'll be pacing around the house. I'll be starting to sweat.
Yeah.
Like
you don't
shit. You don't understand how relaxed I used to be versus how I am now. And like, I mean, I get you understand where I'm at now, because it's just like, I'll start my blood. I can physically feel my blood pressure rise.
Yeah. Skyrocketing. You're like, oh,
and
shit.
my fucking heart is beating out of my chest. I'm pacing. I'm out of breath. I'm fucking sweating. Like now, like my body will start to heat up and I'll start to sweat.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? And like, I can't have a rational conversation with anybody, not even
Yeah.
my wife, you know? And it's kind of, you know, it kind of gets out of hand at some point because it's like, she'll have to sit there and say, baby, breathe. I don't know why you're freaking out. Baby, breathe.
Yeah. Well,
You
and
know?
especially too, like as a grown man, dude, like you start to go through some of that shit and like you feel embarrassed almost because you're like, what the fuck is going on,
Oh, for
dude?
sure. Especially
You're,
when you don't know it.
yeah, and like your palms are sweating, your heart's racing, it's beating out of your chest, you can't catch your breath, your mind's all over the place, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And like that same shit was going on with me, and I went to the VA, and they were like, yeah, that's called anxiety, bro. And I was one of those people like before the military where, and I'm sorry to everybody in my past that I had said this to, where I was like, no, anxiety isn't real. You're just being a bitch. You need to like figure it the fuck out, yada, yada, yada. No, listen, bro, I'm here to tell you right now, bro. Anxiety has stopped me dead in my tracks. Anxiety has had me riding my motorcycle and pulling over on the side of the road and having a panic attack, like
Mm-hmm.
hunched down, like next to my motorcycle, just hyperventilating for no reason.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, like
No,
just out of
that
nowhere.
shit's real. That shit's real. I've been there too. Of course, you know, I don't have a motorcycle now after my accident. I'm still waiting on the insurance to pay out for that because it was the lady's fault. But, you know, there'd be times where I'd be on the road and I'd tell homies, yo, I got to go to the gas station. And I would say, like, hey, man, I need to take a piss, whatever. Right.
Yeah, sure.
So we stop
Whatever
into the gas
excuse you
station.
can come up
I
with.
go into the restroom and I'm sitting there,
Yeah.
you know, which is crazy because 9 times out of 10, that was my therapy. Road therapy was therapy for me, you know, going back to what you said, dude, I apologize to people that I was a dickhead to 20 years ago, where it's like, bro, just get your shit together, you know, because that shit, I was mean about it too, you know, like, I don't feel sorry for you, bro, you know, be a man up,
Yeah.
do, you know, whatever. And now I'm just like, now that I'm feeling it, I'm just like, fuck me, dude. Like, this
Yeah.
is what that felt like.
hmm
So,
Yeah. No, well, and it's weird too because like I don't know if you've experienced it yet, but sometimes, like sometimes I have like issues like determining if I'm like about to have like a panic because there's an anxiety attack and then there's a panic attack, which are like two different things, right? But a lot of the times they can feel the same way, like they feel like you're gonna die, like you don't know what's going on. But a lot of the times I would, and I still do sometimes, have issues kind of determining like the trigger point like behind those. But sometimes like what I've started to notice is right before it'll happen, I'll get I'll get this super light feeling in my body. Like, do you remember the first time you ever smoked a cigarette? Like how super light and airy you felt, and you were like, "Wee," you know?
yeah.
I get that feeling, but I also it's also accompanied by like intense anger. I don't know if that happens to you, but I get this weird angry feeling that kind of like comes on because I think it's because my body is trying to self-diagnose like what's going on. It's doing a systems check, but the body is coming back and no, everything's good, and I'm like bullshit because I'm fucking freaking out, man.
Yeah.
You know?
So
So like I
for
start to get
me,
pissed.
it's like I how do I say it, man?
Yeah, it's weird to try to talk about it, dude.
Yeah, no. Of course, I probably don't have as much experience as you do with it just because, you know, you've dealt with it a little longer than I have.
Sure.
But it starts with me getting out of breath.
Yeah.
Like that for me, like I'll just be gassed, bro. And I like, why? Like, dude, I just got up, walked and got some water and sat down. I've been sitting this whole time, you know, and I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I'm not the most fit person right now. You know,
Sure.
but I'm fit enough to go and walk and grab myself a glass of water
Yeah,
and
but
sit back down without being gassed. Right.
yeah, but you're saying like being in the middle of a conversation with somebody that isn't even heated, and then you'll just be like, like out of nowhere, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because your body's like
Yeah.
breathe, and you're like, oh shit, you know?
Yeah. So it'll start with me getting out of breath. And then I'm just like thinking to myself, why am I so out of breath? What the heck
Yeah.
is going on? And then from there, like you said, systems check, everything comes back fine. And you're like, nah, dog, something ain't right.
Yeah, something ain't right,
You
brother.
know? So, so I'll start to get confused.
Yeah, same.
Right. So once I get confused is whenever I start getting upsetty spaghetti, and I'm just like, you know, I'll snap. You know, my wife, she'll come up and she'll be like, "Hey, where did you put the mayonnaise?" And I'm like, you know,
Yeah. You'd be like, shut the
And-
fuck up. She's like, hey, yo.
yeah. No, I mean, I don't ever tell her to shut the fuck up, like on a serious note, you know, just because respect, right? But at the same time, I'll just be like, I don't know, wherever I put it, you know, whatever,
Yeah.
go find it.
No, I get what you mean.
You know, but she'll just have to sit there and she'll be, hey, yo, don't talk to me like that. And I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. But fuck, what's going on? You know? And so that's where kind of like my mental state is whenever it comes to just starting the, whether it be a panic attack or, you know, anxiety or whatever it may be. And I'll go into like a not a fit of rage, just I'll be super annoyed and I'll walk around the house and I'll pace around and I'm like, you know,
You'll be like on edge.
oh, all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing with that kid? He's trying to get, you know, like the leg rest for like the armchairs.
Yeah.
So it's not a recliner. It's just like the leg rest. And he's scooting it across the, stop.
He said,
He's
y'all want to see
scooting
a
it across
magic
the
trick?
floor for no reason, man. He's got a whole couch to sit on and he's just,
Yeah.
but no, that's Adonis. Oh, anyway, sorry, we're doing a show and we got my family in the room.
Oh, you're fine, man.
We got my doggy in the back. Oh, look at Mercer. Anyway, Nick, so continue on the VA stuff.
With what specifically?
Just the process and like how you went through start to finish, because if I remember correctly, you were talking about you know, you had to go from Arizona or Temple to Arizona to back to Temple and then
Arizona to Temple to Arizona to Temple to Michigan. It was like a weird back and forth there for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you had to do that. So each time you went through another one, did you claim more stuff or did you how difficult was it to transition from one VA to the other?
Well, let me preface this by saying I never went through what's known as a VSO, a veteran service officer. A lot of the times, if you have a lot of stuff that you need or want to claim, a VSO can help you navigate that process. I didn't do that just because I don't know, I'm fucking stupid. I just never thought about it. And somebody was like, hey man, you know that there's a person that can help you do this. And I was like, oh really? That's crazy. But then every person I see that has experiences with VSO, they're always negative. And they're like, no, you shouldn't claim this, you know, in my personal experience, right? My experience with my VSO was great. Dude gives me a lot of great information, and I'll ask him questions. Hey, man, what do you think about this? And he'll be like, nah, I probably wouldn't do that. Or, yeah, you could do that. Or you could do this instead, you know? So
so your experience kind of different, like it greatly differs from like say Joe, who was on our episode 3, right? Where it was like he had to go in there and start flipping shit off the desks and being like, hey, help me out, guys. I'm freaking the fuck out over here.
Yeah.
And then you go into like your experience and it's like, nah, dude, they helped me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, don't get me wrong. I mean, I definitely had experiences that were negative with the VA. For example, one time in Arizona, I was having issues because a buddy of mine, him and I got to talking, and we got talking about some of the things that I was experiencing. He goes, man, that's fucking PTSD, bro. You need to go talk to the VA about it. So I went and I talked to the VA about it. And I talked to a buddy of mine who had worked at the VA, and he goes, yeah, bro, you need to file for that. So I filed for it. And was it during the CMP? Yeah, it was during one of the CMPs. Because at least for me, when I filed for PTSD, the VA did 3 separate CMPs where it was just kind of like poking and prodding, being like, hey, what's going on? You know, how is your relationship with your wife? How is was like another thing they asked me.
Just a
You know,
bunch of bullshit.
do you have nightmares? What are they about? You know, stuff like that.
God
Um,
damn, dude.
but I had an experience, like a negative experience with one of the CMP. I think it was my first or second one, where the dude, it was a guy, and it was him and I sat in a room, and he was asking me about my relationship with my wife at the time. And I had told him, I said, yeah, dude, it's not fucking great, man. Like, I'm snapping, I'm angry, I don't understand why. I'm not, the things that I get angry about aren't like the anger that I'm experiencing or whatever caused the anger isn't warranted. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like
Oh,
how
absolutely,
much?
100%.
Yeah,
Like you
like
just get mad at dumb stuff where it's
yeah,
like,
but I'd be raging out, dude. I'm talking not necessarily like road rage, but I would get angry about something, and the anger that I felt, like the amount of anger that I felt on the subject was unwarranted. B, it would go for way too long. So I'd be angry about some dumbass thing for like 2-3 days. You know, and my wife would be like, "Baby, it's not that serious," and I'd be like, "No, but it is. Like you don't get it." You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
yeah,
And I would,
hey, babe, it's time to let it go.
yeah, she would be like, "Hey, brother, sun's getting real low," you know. And I would be like, not the fuck," you know, and I'd just start tripping like about stupid shit that had nothing to do with anything, you know.
Yeah.
Like one time,
Well,
I snapped at a homeless person in the middle of Arizona because I offered them a Gatorade and they said, "I don't want no Gatorade," and I was like, "Fuck you, bitch," and I turned around and like walked off because I was like, "Fuck you," you know.
well, I
But
mean,
like stupid
to
shit like
to
that.
be out in the Arizona sun though, and like bacon,
Yeah,
right, and then not accept a Gatorade, like,
that's why I got mad. Like who's
and
not gonna
then
take
just
that?
be a dick about it.
Yeah.
Hey,
He's like,
thanks, but no
I don't
thanks.
want that fucking Gatorade. Fuck you then, homeless ass bitch. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh
Nah, but my
my god,
experience
dude.
with the VA in Arizona, the dude was asking me about my wife or my relationship between my wife and I. I said, yeah, it's not going great. Um, I'm trying to remember what exactly he asked me and why I responded the way that I did. He asked me or he told me, he goes, well, you know, you seem to be having some issues, but overall, I think you're okay. And I just started tripping on him. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean? And he goes, whoa, man, calm down. And I'm like, no, don't tell me to calm down. I said, I just told you. I said, I'm on the brink of a divorce because I can't stop freaking the fuck out. And you over here talking about some, it's okay. I said, and the worst part is, I said, you're going to write that shit down on the paperwork and be like, no, he's good. I ain't good, motherfucker. I'm freaking out, you know?
Right.
So like that was one of the negative experiences that I had, and I didn't have to be like escorted out of the building or anything, but like almost. But but I've had a couple moments with the VA where another time with the Arizona VA, I was asking for mental health care for dealing with anxiety, and this was right in the beginning where I found out that I even had anxiety. I didn't know what was going on. I was just like having freakouts you know and I go to the VA and I'm like, hey man, this is what's going on. I don't understand what's going on. I do a systems check, everything comes back green, G to G, good to go, but shit ain't G to G, shit ain't green. And they go, oh yeah, you have anxiety. So I go, okay, and they send me to this doctor, and mind you some antihistamines like Benadryl and stuff like that have shown to reduce symptoms of anxiety. But I went in there specifically for anxiety medication, and this motherfucker gave me antihistamines. Which, now, mind you, like I said, some antihistamines do have anti-anxiety properties. But you're gonna give me fucking Benadryl, dog? I'm freaking out, and you're gonna give me Benadryl, bro? That's what we're doing. So I was like, fuck this. Like, I gotta go. I was like, this ain't it,
Yeah.
dude. You know?
Well, and the messed up part is, right, is people don't realize, right? We have access to information from all over the globe
Mm-hmm.
at the palm of our hand,
Yes, sir. It's a computer
right?
in your
At the
pocket.
palm of our hand, we have access to all sorts of information. And the thing that pisses me off the most is when you do your own studies And when you as a person know your body and what it reacts to and how it reacts to certain things, right? And then somebody's going to sit there and be like, well, if the doctor said it, you should do it because the doctor probably knows best, right?
Sure.
And it's like not necessarily, because the doctor doesn't know you.
Yeah, they don't know your body.
Like,
They don't know your
know
mental.
your body. They just kind of fucking guess and whatever. And listen, dog, 9 times out of 10, the doctor will be right.
Sure.
But look at it from my perspective, right? I go to the doctor. So I had a terrible back spasm that ended up resulting in a herniated disc in my lower lumbar.
Yeah,
that is
those are
now
fun.
pinching the sciatic nerve that runs down my right leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know this because it eventually did get diagnosed, but it took a year for the doctor to get diagnosed, or the doctor to diagnose me, right? So what the way it worked was, I went into the doctor when I had my spasm. And I was like, yeah, dude, my back's fucked up. I can't walk. I can't move. I can't nothing. I got 48-hour quarters, right, to go and lay down and get my shit right. Well, after 2 days, I was fine. I went into the doctor. I talked to my PCM. He was moving my legs around. He's like, oh, no, everything, how's it feeling? I'm like, dude, I feel good I felt so good. I was like, I feel 15 again, right?
Sure.
Because the pain just went away. Like, it was so bad. The pain was so bad that when it just went away, I was like, I feel great.
Yeah, you're probably like, thank God.
The next day I get up, I'm like, oh, what the hell? I'm kind of shuffling around, and I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, whatever pain I'm feeling right now is,
like, not related.
Well, yeah, like how like you just roll out of bed and you stand up and your knees crack and your back pops,
Yeah.
and you're like,
You
it's
just
like
wake up fucked up sometimes.
Yeah, dude. So
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was. Well, then I went to go get in my car, and as soon as I lifted my right leg to get into the driver's seat, that pain just shot down my leg.
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
Like it felt like somebody had taken a knife, stabbed me in the bottom part of my back, and just dragged it down the right leg. So then I went to the doctor and I was like, what's this? What's that? Whatever, blah, 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 blah. And lo and fucking behold, they were like, nah, dog, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, something ain't right. Right. So handy dandy computer in the pocket. Right. I looked it up. I, tried to figure out what it was. Sciatica is what they classified it as. So I knew I had sciatica. So I went back to the doctor and I was like, hey man, I know I got sciatica. I need you to, run the diagnosis, like whether it's a MRI or X-ray or whatever you got to do, diagnose it so I can get it treated. And he was like, well, it says here in basic training, you fractured your hip. So let's check that out. I was like, nah, dog, it's not in my hip. It's in my lower, it's in my lower lumbar. And he was like, well, who's the doctor here? And it's like this old fucking 60-year-old dude with a fucking big old bushy beard. And he's got a bandana on, looking like a whole hippie, right? And I'm like, bro, just can you listen to the patient? And he was like, no, this is what we're going to do. So they x-rayed my hip. He's like, well, that's not the problem. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're like, huh, weird.
Yeah, weird, right? Well, then they did another MRI of my mid-torso, right? On the back.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, well, it's nothing wrong up there. And I said, bro, I told you my lower back.
Yeah, dude, I swear to God on my life. I say it as a joke, but I swear to God, sometimes I believe it. That the military finds doctors, that got their degree from Walmart. Like, it has to be. Because sometimes you go in there and you go, hey man, I'm having issues with this, and they go, well, have you tried not doing that? Are you fucking high? I'm in the military, bro. Like, have you tried not lifting that shit? Have you tried fucking waking up today, bro? Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, they just say crazy shit to you, and you're like, oh, yeah, I'd love to do that, but unfortunately,
the worst part for me was I was like, going to the doctor about this. I had to go to the doctor for 2 months, like almost every fucking day for 2 months before they were like, okay, well, how about we put you in physical therapy, right? So they still didn't diagnose it. They put me in physical therapy, and I had this blonde hair, blue-eyed major who was Hitler's perfect fucking child. Because I swear to God, he was like, okay, we got to do these stretches. We got to do that stretch. And mind you, everything that he's doing is hurting.
Yeah.
Um,
Like hell, I imagine.
you need to walk by. My wife gonna walk by. I'm gonna put Nick on the camera real fast. Goofy.
Wait. Use
Keep
code
the W.
Tills4Thrills at checkout, 10% off, baby.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, I go into this physical therapist office, and mind you, this is an old dude, and it's little PFC me, right? So if you don't know, if you're a civilian watching and you don't know what PFC is compared to a major, huge difference. It's like the difference between 6 and midnight, right?
Sure.
So anyway, I walk in there. Mind you, I've only been in service for like a year and a half.
The fuck
T-Rex
was that
arms.
all about? Yeah.
T-Rex.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, so I walk in, dude bro's like giving me stretches that aren't helping, by the way. They're just making matters worse. They're hurting me. And he's like, well, you know, we need a... Draven, what are you doing? He's looking for the remote. Anyway, so I go, dog, this hurts. What are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? This hurts me a lot. And he was like, well, I got to get you ready for a PT test.
What?
I said, what did you just say? He's like, yeah, no, I got to get you ready for a PT test. I said, nah, dog, you need to get me better. You need to heal me.
Yeah.
And do your fucking job and heal me. Otherwise, I'm not coming back to this fucking shithole.
Yeah.
And
he
he
worried
was
about
like,
a PT test.
yeah, he was like, no, you don't get people to minimum requirement shape so that they can pass a PT test. You fucking heal them because that's your sworn oath to do as a medical professional, right? And he was like, well, I don't know how to help you then. I was like, dog, you're going to tell me you're a major with possibly 20 years in the Army already, and you're going to sit there and say you don't know how to help me? Fuck out of here. I walked out of that office heated.
Oh, I bet, dude. I would have been pissed too.
Thankfully, I didn't get slapped with an Article 15 for disrespect to a commissioned officer or nothing.
Yeah.
But like, I was highly disrespectful to him after that because I was like, you're stupid, right? Well, anyway, I go back to the doctor, and I tell my doctor, I was like, hey, yo, that physical therapist you recommended, he ain't shit, dog. Do something else. So he's like, well, I can put you in pain management. And so I went and I talked to this lady in pain management, and she had me doing alternative treatments like yoga, water aerobics therapy. She had me doing
shit, you doing a whole bunch of stupid shit.
Dude, yeah. Like I had to go do some other like movement classes, some other stretches. Like I don't know, dude. It was like all experimental shit too. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Mind you, I still haven't had the MRI on my lower back.
I was going to say, still haven't had the diagnosis.
Still haven't gotten diagnosed, right? And I've been telling this doctor for like the better part of 6 months, I got sciatica. I know what it is. I know it. And so finally she's like, well, have you had any MRIs? I was like, not for my lower back. She's like, okay, well, let's get you scheduled for that. Finally, right? A year after my fucking injury, I go in, get my MRI. And then the next day she calls me and she's like, hey, bro, we found the problem. You got sciatica.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
I said, no fucking shit, dude.
Yeah.
You know, like, what the hell, man? So anyway, man, that was my experience with just that one injury. Just that one injury.
Bro, when you finally get the results for something that you've been like, A, that you knew was going on, and B, that you've been waiting for so long, it's one of those like grab the steering wheel and like shake the shit out of it. You know what I mean? You're like, yes, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've been telling you. Like
so,
psychopath.
so fast forward a little bit, right? They start scheduling me for steroid shots in my back. Like the big ass epidural needle that goes into your lower back.
I had those on my feet, dude.
So of course, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm getting those. I got 4 shots before they were like, we got to stop, dude. We got to stop, bro. And I was like, well, why? And they said, because you can only get so many per year and so many per lifetime.
Yep.
That I was just like, well, fuck, dude, because it still hurts. Even now, as I sit down in this chair, my sciatic nerve hurts, right? And because I'm a little bit on the younger side, right? So I'm 33 years old now. I got diagnosed when I was like 27. So they do have non-invasive surgery for the condition I have, right? But what they were saying was because of my age, you'll be lucky to find a doctor who would operate on somebody like that.
That wants to do it.
Because so many things could go wrong. Like, it's non-invasive, but there's so many nerve clusters around that area where like something bad could happen.
Right.
And that's more of like a procedure for, like a senior citizen.
Sure.
But I was like, well, I'd like to do it, whatever. Well, then, mind you, I'm on like a dead man profile to where like PT wasn't a thing for me, right? And so I was getting fat. Well, then as soon as I come off of my profile, they're like, hit him with the height and weight, hit him with the PT test, let's go.
Yep.
I said, what, dog?
Yeah.
So I didn't even have time to go to like recovery PT. They just said, fuck it. He failed a PT test. Cool. He failed height and weight. Cool. Get him the fuck out the Army. Dog, I can't tell you how hard I had to work and how terrible it was to work through the pain to lose that weight and to fucking like, dude, running
like just to pass height and weight.
Running fucking sucks for me now. Fucking going to the gym, doing any kind of like leg day stuff sucks. Especially now that I had the broken knee that I'm still trying to heal. So the breakage is healed, but that pain that is still there sucks. And you get to a point where you're just like, well, fuck it, I just don't want to do it. But in that instance, I had to.
Right.
So, in 1 month, or no, it was about a month and a half, I lost just enough weight to be able to pass height and weight. And in 2 months, I was finally able to pass a PT test. And then, of course, I kept working at it. I had a good trainer at the time. But it was just like, what the heck, man? So,
yeah,
I don't know, man. Shit sucked because, you do have to meet a certain standard in the Army. I got that. Like, you want your fighting force to be tip-top shape. I get that. But when you get injured and they don't take the time to help you get right so that you can get back to tip-top shape, it's just ridiculous to me, dude.
You're just cooked.
Yeah.
Well, and like the other thing too, like I had a similar situation happen to me. I didn't get like sciatica or anything like that, but I had messed my back up. And they sent me to physical therapy and they did the whole thing and like the stretching and for me physical therapy helped out a little bit, but that pain that I got from injuring my back kind of never really went away. So now I kind of deal with the same thing in my back where I remember one time when I got out excuse me, I was working for like a local vape shop or something and I threw my back out. And it was because a customer had dropped something on the floor right in front of me. And they went to go bend down. I said, no, man, don't worry about it. I got it. And I went to go pick it up. And the second my grubby little mitts touched it, my back was like, eeyow! And I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, ah!
You were cooked.
Yeah. And I had to go get my cane and like I had to go home. Sucked.
Yeah. No, I mean, sometimes that'll happen to me too, where, because when you have an injury like I had, it turns into chronic pain. So it's like you can heal from it and you can feel better one day, but then the next day your back will just hurt. And like no amount of, cushions on the bed, no amount of cushions on the couch, no amount of this is a badass computer chair, no amount of anything will help you because you're just in pain. And, granted, my sciatic nerve like hurts pretty much day in and day out, but there are days where it's better, I got stretches that I do, to get right. So I know my physical therapist after the accident, they were kind of guiding me through some of the statistics with like lower back pain and stuff like that. So like if you stretch out your back a certain way, it'll help your legs because, you got all the nerves, you got the muscles going down, stemming from your back into the lower body. So, I do these stretches from time to time and I try to be pretty consistent with them. So throughout the day, I might stretch a few times. but still, like, it only helps you so much, you know. And on some days you need the stretch because it is so much worse. But yeah, dude, I'll get to, like, recently I had to dismantle my dad's shed out back because, like, the walls, it's so old that the walls were just drooping. So he wanted me to, like, take it down to bare bones. And after I did that, I wasn't lifting heavy. I was just doing a lot of bending so I can pick up stuff off the ground and whatnot. And my back was killing me, dog, at the end of the day. Yeah. Well, it doesn't help that we're sleeping on an uncomfortable bed right now too. Like, our bed is still in storage and we're waiting for that to come back.
Yeah.
So anyway, give me 1 second. So, Nick, in your experience with dealing with the VA, how many times did they just outright say, like, you know, nah, dog, that's a lie. You're lying. Oh, peep the dubby.
Let me think for a second. I don't know that they. Well, no, I was gonna say I don't know that they ever did, but that would be a lie. Ironically enough, the only time I've ever been called a liar by the VA was in Temple, Texas, and it was with the only doctor that had ever actually been assigned to me as a PCM for the short time that she was. And basically, the situation was I don't remember what we were talking about, but we were talking about pain management for something. It was either my back or my hip or something. And she was gonna prescribe me the good old 800 milligram ibuprofens, right? And I said, hey, just so you know, my body responds better to naproxen sodium than it does to ibuprofen. Like, naproxen has a stronger effect on my body than just regular ibuprofen does.
Right.
She goes, okay, cool. I'll take that into consideration. And 5-10 minutes goes by, and we were going over, like, what she was giving me for different things. Excuse me. And we get to, like, the ibuprofen part, and she goes, okay, so I'm going to give you the ibuprofen. And I stopped her and I said, well, excuse me. I said, I thought we talked about the naproxen sodium. And she goes, no, we didn't. And I went, yeah, we just talked about it like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we just talked about it. And she goes, no, we didn't. We didn't talk about that at all. And I looked at her, like, all crazy and confused, because I was like looking at, like, the imaginary camera in the room. Like, I was like, you fucking serious? You know what I mean? And she goes, we didn't talk about that. She goes, you're a liar. You're a liar. And I'm like, so I'm like, now I'm, like, getting heated. And I was like,
so she straight up just said, you're
Yeah.
lying. You're a liar.
She straight up looked me up and down and was like, no, you're lying. And I'm like, I'm not lying, actually. And I verbatim reiterated what was said in the conversation. I said, I told you that my body responds better to naproxen sodium than it does to ibuprofen. You said, okay, I'll take that into consideration. And she goes, I never said that. And I stood up. I went like this. I went and just stood up and like, as I was walking out of the room, and I was like, what a fucking joke you guys are. I was like, man, this shit is fucking stupid. And I just turned around and walked out.
Thanks, Walmart degree doctor.
Right.
Right.
And you know what's funny about that, real quick? So that was also the same day that I got my VA ID card issued to me. I was so fucking mad about the fact that she called me a liar about something I know good and goddamn well that I didn't lie about and that we just had a conversation about. I was so mad, bro, that in the photo for my veteran ID card, my entire eyes are pitch black. I was pissed. Like, I was so mad, bro.
Pupils dilated on the verge of a fucking...
Oh, I was on the verge of a freak
rage.
Well, like, the lady there was nice. She was like, what's wrong, baby? And I was like, man, I was like, don't fucking push me, bro. Like, 'cause I'm already on the edge, dog. You know, I'm walking around with my motorcycle helmet. It's like 100 some odd degrees outside in Texas. I'm pissed. Yeah, dude.
Nah, dude. Hey, look, I'll be the first to tell you, if I'm feeling something, I'll be good goddamned if you're going to call me a liar. Like, hell no, dude.
I was so mad.
So, I mean, but, like, what possesses people to do that? Like, you know, if you're treating symptoms as a doctor, and first and foremost, you already know this person's a vet, so 9 times out of 10, they probably got a screw loose, right? especially if you're coming out the Army of all things.
Yeah.
And they're going to sit there and just flat out call you a liar instead of saying something maybe like, "Are you sure? Because I don't seem to recall it."
Yeah. Now,
you
had
don't
she
just
said
look at
that-
somebody and say, "Liar." Fuck
Yeah.
you, dude.
Yeah, had she told me, like, I don't necessarily recall that conversation, the entire conversation would have been different. But no, she was like, "No, you're a liar. You never said that." And I was like, "Are we fucking serious? Like, what kind of fucking shit is this?" I would have responded way better had she been like, "I'm sorry, I don't recall that conversation." Okay, yeah, no problem. 5 minutes ago, you said this, I said this, yada, yada, yada. End of statement. That was the conversation.
Oh, sure.
Then we can move forward. But no, So
well, it's almost
I don't
like they intentionally do shit to fucking get you to freak out,
get you riled up. Yeah.
right? Get you riled up so that they have an excuse to be like, well, you look at it, the VA is like an insurance company. They want to protect their assets. They want to protect their people. Of course, if you have a valid concern, they got to pay out for it. Cool. But they're going to make that process as difficult as possible for you so that they don't have to pay out. Right.
In
The
most
other thing-
cases, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, damn, dude, I just lost what I was about to say.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. But I will say this. If you are a veteran watching this, right? If you are a veteran that you've gone through the VA and you've gone through whatever, especially if it's like multiple states and stuff, we'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Comment below. Make sure you give us a like. Make sure you subscribe and everything. We're doing a huge push for user interaction, man. We want viewers to follow us on all of our social media sites, as you see right there. We want people to comment and interact with us. We want to talk to you, We want to know what you guys are thinking. So you can also go ahead and email us at the Tills4Thrills Podcast at gmail.com. You can let us know some of the topics you want us to cover, maybe some of the comments or concerns you have on the show. Again, the big thing comes from interacting with us. We don't know what to give you unless you tell us what you want. We could do anything we want to do, but we also want to make sure you as a viewer stay engaged. With that said, again, this is our celebratory episode, man. 6 episodes in. This is our 6th week doing it. We are already outside of the 90% bracket that fails in the first 5 episodes. And we're still trying to do a huge push to keep it going, right? I think our next milestone is going to be at episode 22, where we get into that top tier, like we keep going after a certain amount of time.
I'm going to let the people see both of us real quick. How you feel?
Yeah, go for it, man.
What up, homies? It's your boy. No.
So I'm not an alcoholic. This is not vodka. It's water.
Or is it?
As he takes a sippy sip of his stubby.
My little lickies and chewies.
Dude, I gotta say, I'm excited. Like this 6th one, bro. I'm gonna tell you. I it's not that I was feeling anxious. I was feeling like a lack of motivation to do this episode, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think that's why it took so long to like sit down with you and actually do it. Mostly because, man, it's again, it's going to that 90% don't get past episode 5, and you kind of like get into this weird shtick,
Like weird headspace.
Yeah, man.
Gotta keep it moving. Gotta give the people what they want.
So,
but we need y'all to tell us what y'all want so we can give it to you.
So I do want to say that we have a Discord server that we are still currently working on.
We do.
For the viewers, right?
For y'all.
So that y'all can come in, you can interact.
Y'all can talk to us.
With that said, probably next week, I will do it on Monday. For one whole day, I will share the invite link on Facebook. You can follow us on Facebook, the Tills4Thrills Podcast. That's our page. So for 1 week, I will share the invite code for our Discord. After that, we are in the process of setting up a Patreon that's going to have exclusive behind-the-scenes footage. And we will let you know whenever that's going to be ready, but you will need to become a member.
Yes, sir.
You could become a member for free on Patreon.
Free 99.
Free 99. As long as you are a member on our Patreon, you will be a member. You will have access to our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will obviously have different tiers where you can watch, anything but from behind the scenes content, us setting up a Discord, us hanging out with other people like our buddy Hostile Bond.
Yep, other content creators.
Yeah, we're hanging out in there with other content creators. We're getting information on how to set up socials and how to create Discords and how to do what we got to do. I think that's going to be a really cool thing, for people to get into the Discord, be able to interact with each other and us and discuss topics on what they want to see.
Wanted to be super cool too because, like I wake up a lot earlier than you do. So if I see that somebody's
Man, don't put that out there, Doug.
I just go up in the Discord, babe. Like, what y'all doing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't help that you're also an hour ahead of me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, I'm really excited for the future.
No, I'm stoked.
The only problem is, and this is an issue that I have, is like we're getting a lot of attention on the videos that we're producing, but we're not getting interaction. Like nobody's commenting, nobody's saying anything, which, hey man, to each their own. If you want to watch it, you want to watch it. If you don't, got it. Cool. You don't have to. We just, want to make sure that people stay engaged with us. We want to make sure that we're putting out stuff that you guys want.
Yeah.
Get on that home, baby. Like, comment, subscribe. Or Nick will be under your bed tonight.
Wait.
Oh my God.
Me with my glary glasses.
Funny thing is, so we already started putting out previews for episode 7. Dog. Nick's camera got blurry mid set. And I'm like, do the lizard thing. And he was like, bet. Do the lizard thing.
Got to jump up on you.
Oh my God, that was funny. Like we're sitting here trying to have a serious conversation about the shit.
I was mid conversation too. Rude ass camera. I'm like, yeah, man. The way that it works, my camera's like, fuck you. You're not talking about shit. And I was like, yo.
Hey man, you should have went for the.
I should have
the E-Meet.
I should have just
S800.
Listen. I'll probably get it. So that way, like, my camera stopped tripping out. So my camera, for all those that don't know, my camera has issues like autofocusing. For some reason, it loves this door right here. Loves it. That fake wood grain. Oh, my camera can't get enough. Yeah. So the problem is, right, I've turned off the autofocus in the settings, right? But we get in here, and it's like, I'm just going to turn this back on. What the fuck? Who's doing it? Is it God? It ain't me. Who's in the PC? It ain't me. It drives me crazy, dude. I'll get up real quick. I'm like, I gotta go do something with the dog real quick. Come back, blurry as shit. Look like a 1999 Nokia photo. I'm like, come on, man.
Bro, we're gonna have to clip this segment right here just to have it as a short.
It drives me nuts, dude. Technical difficulties, my dick. This fucking cameraman. God. Can't have shit in Detroit.
Jesus Christ.
Can't have nothing, man. They be stealing porches in Detroit. You know that?
They whole porches.
Front porches. Gone.
I mean, are we talking like it's got the porch with the fucking the columns and the roof and everything?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
How do they do that? They just like hook up a truck to it and drag it off? Like what the hell?
Hold on, man. Let me get some glare on my glasses real quick.
The funniest thing, Nick has an issue with his glasses, right? He can't see shit without them. And then he looks at his screen when he's trying to share something, and it's like that, big old white buggy eyes. Did you find it?
Detroit man says his porch was stolen.
His porch.
This shit, bro. Hold on. Let me see.
Is there a video? Like, how was it stolen? Like, I mean, because obviously you can't just pick the shit up and then carry it away.
No. Hold up.
Oh man.
You want to throw that up there? They done got my dog
Jesus.
porch, man.
That's insane. Hold on, I gotta maximize this screen real fast. Holy crap. Why would they steal a porch?
Why not? It's Detroit. What if they ain't got a porch?
Oh my God. But
Need to go get one. You can't
porch?
just go buy a porch at Home Depot, man.
I mean, you could buy the materials.
Sure.
I mean, I would imagine you could buy a porch, though, right?
Probably.
Like,
I mean, you can buy whole sheds at like Home Depot.
wow. That's crazy. All right, I'm gonna remove that from the screen. But yeah, dude, like
Now I'm curious.
he said, I'm gonna keep digging. I got my shovel. I'm gonna keep digging. You're so funny when you're typing.
You can.
you have to fucking get so close to the camera over the keyboard and hit it with your chicken peckers.
Bro, it's because I fat finger the shit out of my keys. My buddy was like, "Oh man, you should get this keyboard. It's only like $40. It works good. It sounds good." While it does work good, and while it does sound good, my fat ass fingers are just like and just catch like the sides of keys. So I'm like constantly hitting the backspace, and I'm like, man, I swear to God, if I could type, I'd cure cancer. Something like, dude, can't do it.
Probably
Like,
better
oh,
than the
man.
Walmart doctors.
Man, what? Yeah, guys, super excited. I had something for you. I lost it. We started off strong.
What I got something for y'all.
What you got?
Hey guys, hit that w.gg. Get your energy supplements now. You got the
Jitterless
mystery
energy
tub.
solution, baby.
You got the mystery
Go on,
tub. You
get it.
got all kinds of flavors. They actually started doing a solo leveling,
Yeah.
a solo leveling partnership with Dubby, right? Which is really cool because those are really cool flavors. Unfortunately, because they are partnered with Crunchyroll for that, you don't save the 10% with our discount code. However, anything else on eligible products, you will get 10% off. Promo code at checkout, Tills4Thrills, for your 10% off. Also, if you are a veteran, you're watching the show and you're having a crisis, you can hit us with that. We're going to hit you with that 988, then press 1. If you need to talk to somebody, get something off your chest, do what you got to do. Honestly, like, this is fun. We're 6th episode, dog.
Yeah, it's
6
crazy.
weeks.
It's crazy. You remember the first episode? You go, hey man, do you wanna maybe by chance like partake in a podcast? Well, yeah, sure, man. And it was crazy because I'm sitting in my chair, I got my legs up, I got like my microphone, and I'm like, la 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 la. And, hey man, do you wanna come on for the second one? And I came on. You're like, hey man, you want to co-host? And I'm like, and then here we are. We've recorded all these episodes, and more to come. Like, I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a crazy thing to think about, the fact that you've been on every episode.
Yeah. I just feel honored that you picked me, because there's a whole bunch of other assholes that are way more informative than I am.
Well, honestly, the reason I picked you is because you're one of the funniest dudes I know.
It's just because I'm goofy, man. I came out the womb goofy. You know that when my mom had to have a C-section. You know that when I came out the womb, I was a breech baby. So breech is when like during birth the babies invert themselves so that they can like be birthed naturally. So breech is when they don't invert. So I came out the womb for real, crisscross applesauce like this, and I opened my eyes and looked at the doctor, and he was like, "Oh," and grabbed me. Hey, oh. And I was like, "Yeah."
That's funny.
Yeah, I came out the womb goofy, dude.
Yeah, no,
I don't know what it is.
But no, I mean, crazy enough is I knew that I would have to have some help doing the podcast, because I'm just busy. I just got out the army,
Lord, this shit's sour.
going to school. At the time, I was still going to school. Now I'm in the middle of this move. And Adonis, what are you doing, man? You don't have to crawl on the floor. You can just walk by, dude. He over here laying on the ground doing the whole like turning over.
That's wild.
That
like
is wild. Oh yeah,
screeching across the ground.
So what was I saying? Oh yeah.
Having help.
Yeah, I knew I'd have to have help at some point. Like, I think for one of the behind the scenes episodes you did with Tina, You had to do that
Yeah.
by yourself because
Yeah,
I
the
was
pre-interview.
moving. I was moving around, dog. I think I went up to Kansas and I was coming back from Kansas back to Texas. So I was on the road the whole time. I couldn't be there for it. And it's like stuff like that, because we want to keep pushing content. And I knew I was going to have a co-host to be like, hey, man, if I can't be there, I need you to take over.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Like if you can't be there and I can.
Quick side note, you guys want to see that early access content? You guys want to see pre-interviews, behind-the-scenes footage? Go ahead. Check out the Patreon.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, the Patreon is up.
Yep.
We're still setting stuff up.
Yep.
So you can become a member for free.
Free 99.
And we have different tier access for different things. You can go onto the website. It's patreon.com/Tills4Thrills, the Tills4Thrills podcast, so that you can get access to some of the stuff. We have a couple of things on there that we haven't released on YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
That are free to the members. Maybe not. I don't know. I'd have to check. I'd have to double check on that.
I can look right now if you want.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we could probably do like if it would be interesting, we could probably do the behind the stuff with Hostel.
Yeah.
Right. Like we can unlock that one for viewers. But anyway, like I said, it's still a work in progress. We are still working on it.
We're still doing the
there.
thing, guys. Still doing the thing.
Yeah. So if you'd like to show us some love and if you'd like to go over there and become an early member, you're more than welcome to. Also, anything that you decide to donate to us, it's going to go straight back into the podcast so that we can get you better quality video, better quality gear, better quality audio, just overall better quality stuff.
I can get a better camera that stops autofocusing every 35 seconds.
Yeah, man. So keep in mind, we're not monetized at all.
No.
And any monetization that we get moving forward is going right back into the podcast. So
ABBA starts playing in the background.
No, homeboy just said doot 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 doot.
I'm telling you, man.
Man, my kids are goofy. They almost as goofy as you, dog.
Yeah. Somebody's got to do it, man.
Yeah. We need laughter in this world.
Yeah. They say it's the best medicine.
You know what I'm still tripped up about?
What's that?
So episode 7, you guys, we recorded it. We have it done already. We're just waiting to publish it. But we released a couple of shorts to do a sneak peek, and homeboy's over here reading off statistics, right? He's reading off a fact sheet, right? He's not saying, any one president was better than the other. He's not saying that.
I'm not like giving my opinion on anything.
Yeah, he's just reading like historically. These are the facts, right? And then some dude went on there and he's like, "Oh, you're just comparing apples to oranges," and then started like this whole dialogue about how we're wrong because there's no emotion behind it or something like that. And I'm like, "Dog, what? like we just gave you numbers. That was it."
Yeah. We'll just give you the numbers, man. What you choose to do with those numbers is between you and whoever you pray to.
Yeah.
If you pray at all.
Draven, what are you doing, kid?
He said, I'm trying to find something. He looks like he's trying to find something.
Dog, he's going around like, I am Cornholio. I need some TP for my bunghole.
Jesus.
I mean, what is he doing, man? My kids are crazy.
Yeah, no, it was weird, dude. Like right before this episode, because you had mentioned kind of getting that feeling of like not wanting to do it almost. I got that same feeling. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do it, but I was like, no, we got to.
Well, I think this one was kind of it was a really weird episode because we didn't even have a topic.
Yeah.
We just hey guys. We're celebrating here, man.
No, we literally, so the way that we usually do it is, and if you guys watch, you guys have seen, we do like the countdown and then we come on, hey, this is Doodle Bob, host of the show. Here's, Patrick Starr, my co-host. And then we go, and then we introduce the topic that we're going to talk about. But this one, we really just kind of sat in the lobby and we went, fuck it, and just hit record. And here we are.
Yeah.
So,
I had to, so it's so funny too, because leading up to it, all week long, Nick was just like, so what are we going to talk about on episode 6?
Yeah.
And I'd have to tell him, it's our milestone episode, bro. We just gonna fuck around. He was like, okay. And then like 2 hours later, so what are we gonna talk about on episode 6? I'm like, bro,
forgetting shit.
milestone. We just bullshitting. It's like, okay. 2 hours later. So what are we gonna talk about on episode 6?
Yeah.
Dog, stop asking.
Julian gets on Discord today, like 4 hours ago. I'm like, hey man, real quick, what are we gonna talk about for episode 6? Oh man, it's our milestone episode. We've gone over this before. Like we're just gonna like talk about whatever we feel like talking about. I was like, all right, cool. Play the game for a little bit, do a little bit of work behind the scenes. Hour goes by. Hey man, what are we gonna do for episode 6? You're like, brother, please.
Nah, I did. No, we were mid game too. And he was like, so what are we going to talk about? I said, bro, you asked me that shit one more motherfucking time.
Yeah. It'd be like that though. You have memory issues. Can't remember shit.
Well, the funny thing is for like 7 and 8, we kind of have actually, I don't know, because we still got to decide on what 8 is.
Yeah.
We still got to talk about that one. But like for 7 specifically, like we knew that one was going to be like a week in coming.
Yeah,
and
we knew that one like way ahead.
You didn't forget about it.
Yeah, I think it's just because we had talked about it so much.
Yeah,
like for me, like because I have memory issues, sometimes if things don't get reiterated over and over and over again, I'm like, 8, 9, to fuck, I don't know. I'm sorry, I forgot. But if it gets reiterated enough, like it finally just sinks in my brain. You'll say, oh, episode so and so. I'll go, oh yeah, we're doing it on that.
Yeah. We really need to figure out what we're going to do on episode 8. And then, hey guys, fun fact, you can have a hand in that. You can have a hand in what you hear about on episode 8. Email us at the Tills4Thrills Podcast at gmail.com or comment down below. And you guys have the power, man. Yeah. You guys have the power. We're not getting any suggestions.
Yeah, you guys honestly can choose like what it is that you guys want to hear and want us to talk about. And and same thing for the email. I'll flash it one more time for y'all. If you want to come on and be a guest on the show, obviously, we'll talk with you a little bit beforehand and we'll see kind of where you're at with some things. And if we feel that, you're a right fit, then we'll run it, but we got to know. Y'all got to talk to you boys. Yeah. We got to see what it is that y'all want to talk about, whether it's this, whether it's that. It's fine. We can talk about anything. We don't care.
Oh, for sure. The other thing is we need to hurry up and figure out what's the situation with like Gavin and Brian and them.
Oh yeah.
Because I know that they wanted to talk a little bit about like, we've talked about it from being in the stuff, right? As a service member and veteran and what that's like. We haven't heard from a spouse or like a dependent and what it was like having to move and make friends and lose friends and make friends again and go to school through the systems and shit like that, right? So that would be another good thing to talk about. But I digress. Like I said, man, comment down below, shoot us an email, follow us on our socials. I promise you, we have them. Okay.
Yeah. And we'll actually respond too.
We will respond because we are interested in hearing what you guys not only have to say, but we're also interested in knowing what you guys want to hear. So we can do some studies. We can do some research. We can talk about it. We can give you our honest opinions presented with facts, right?
Yeah.
So with that said, I ain't got nothing else for you, dog. You got anything else?
I was trying to come up with like a funny one-liner, but I didn't have one.
All right. Well, Nick is going to guide you to the outro. So, Nick, you want to go ahead and do that?
Yeah, man. So, like we said, celebratory episode, milestone episode. A lot of people shit the bed, around episode 5, 6. So, here we are. We're still kicking. We're still doing the thing. You guys have any questions, comments, concerns? You want to come on the show? You want a topic that you want us to talk about? Email us at the Tills4Thrills Podcast at gmail.com. You guys can go ahead and follow us on all the social medias. We got Rumble, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, X, pretty much everything, man. If you're a veteran struggling and you need somebody to talk to, you can always dial the Veterans Crisis Line at 988 and press 1. You guys want to check out Dubby.com for a jitterless energy solution. Doesn't have niacin, doesn't make
Dubby.gg.
Dubby.gg, that is right, excuse me. Great stuff, good price. Use promo code Tills4Thrills at checkout, receive 10% off. Other than that, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye-bye.